You're a kid from the area. You spent your childhood observing the respected men in your community. The flashy accessories, expensive vehicles, and social standing catch your eye. That lifestyle appeals to you. You begin loitering around their operations. You fetch their beverages, you clean their luxury cars, you make deli runs to bring food for their backroom poker games. You're practically a ghost. These powerful men scarcely acknowledge your presence. From their perspective, you're unpaid help. You're an errand boy. You retrieve their coffee and cigarettes. Your role is simple. Observe and stay silent. Every moment, you're under scrutiny. They're evaluating your reliability. Show too much chatter, and you're dismissed. There's no income yet. Actually, you're shouldering all the danger without any compensation. When law enforcement raids the establishment, you're the one getting arrested while the higher-ups escape through the rear exit. What earns you advancement? Proving your value. You notice patrol cars approaching from 2 blocks out and alert the crew. You've proven yourself. Your status is now associate. You haven't joined the inner circle, but you collaborate with them. Your existence becomes one continuous scheme. You intercept cargo shipments leaving the airfield. You operate an illegal gambling operation, but there's a requirement. You can't pocket everything. You must pay tribute. Weekly, you deliver a thick, cash-filled envelope to your handler, the maid member who recruited you. If your score is $10,000, you'd better surrender $3,000 to him. Withholding from him equals robbing the organization. That violation gets you killed. The danger at this stage is substantial. You're performing the actual criminal acts. You're the one threatening violence and stealing merchandise. Federal agents are monitoring you because you lack refinement and you're desperate. If you're arrested, the organization has no obligation to you. You serve your sentence. You remain silent. That's the sole method of demonstrating you deserve promotion. You've been generating revenue for years. You stayed quiet through a 3-year prison term. You've demonstrated both your money-making ability and your resistance to interrogation. You're now officially attached to a captain. This indicates you're his responsibility. Other crews cannot interfere with you. If someone from a different organization tries to extort you, your captain intervenes and declares, "Stay away. He's under my protection." This represents your career's most precarious period. The leadership is investigating you thoroughly. They're examining your ancestry. Your paternal lineage must be completely Italian. They're researching your history for any informants in your family tree. A single error here destroys you. If you cause a public disturbance and humiliate the organization, you're finished. Eventually, you receive instructions to dress formally. You're informed you'll be inducted. You enter a cellar or private room. Men are seated at a table. A weapon and a saint's image are present. They pierce your trigger finger. Your blood drips onto the religious picture. You've achieved it. You're an inducted member. You're protected. Ordinary citizens cannot harm you. Associates cannot harm you. Even leaders from rival organizations cannot eliminate you without the commission's approval. Attacking you means attacking the entire structure. You're now within the trusted inner circle. You supervise a group of associates. They pay you, and you pay your captain. Your responsibility is overseeing the illegal operations. You ensure construction companies are making payments. You ensure labor union elections favor your interests. You no longer personally vandalize property. You delegate that to an associate. However, you remain a foot soldier. When the boss orders someone eliminated, you comply. You collect your equipment and execute the task. Declining is impossible. Some members excel at generating income. You excel at inflicting harm. When debts need collecting from non-compliant debtors, you're dispatched. You're the intimidation force that maintains cash flow. Perhaps you specialize in body disposal. You understand how to make corpses vanish. You know which industrial facilities have corrosive chemical tanks, or which building foundations are being laid on specific mornings. Everyone fears you, including your own crew members. But this position isolates you. They require your services, but they avoid your company. Your captain faces difficulties. Perhaps he's facing federal racketeering charges. Perhaps he suffered cardiac arrest. Perhaps he's under such intense surveillance he's confined to his residence. He designates you. You're now the interim captain. You're the substitute authority figure, but wielding lethal power. You're managing the crew, but everyone recognizes the position isn't permanently yours. This tests both your allegiance and your leadership abilities. You must maintain the cash flow for the captain during his absence. You must control the soldiers. Poor performance means revenue stops and the captain becomes hostile. Exceptional performance might trigger the captain's suspicion. He might suspect you're attempting to usurp his crew. You must navigate carefully. You must lead while appearing reluctant to lead. The interim designation is removed. You're the leader. You're a capo. You command 10 soldiers and hundreds of associates. You govern a territory, perhaps a Brooklyn neighborhood. You're middle management. You don't handle narcotics. You don't handle weapons. You manage personnel. Your main function is protecting the boss. You conduct meetings with your soldiers in secure locations, shopping centers, public parks, walking conversations. They deliver the envelopes. You issue commands. You're accountable for your entire crew's earnings. During economic downturns, you still must compensate the boss. If federal agents shut down your gambling establishment, you must establish new revenue streams immediately. You also serve as arbitrator. When two soldiers dispute money matters, they approach you. You resolve it. Your decision is final within the crew, but you have quotas. You must provide substantial weekly payments to the boss. If your earnings decline, you're removed. And in this world, removal means execution. This is a specialized position, yet influential. You're the negotiator. The organizations need communication, but the bosses cannot meet directly. It's too dangerous. The FBI monitors every interaction, so they send you. You move between the 5 families. You transport messages that cannot be documented or transmitted electronically. You avert conflicts. If a soldier from one organization has an affair with another organization's soldier's spouse, you're the one who brokers a resolution before violence erupts. You must be personable, composed, and exceptionally cautious. You're now the third-ranking person in the inner sanctum. You're the advisor. Typically, you don't manage a crew. You don't control territory. You have the boss's attention. You're the sole person in the structure permitted to contradict the boss. When the boss wants to eliminate a captain impulsively, you're the one who says, pause, consider the business implications. Consider the law enforcement attention. You're often an attorney, or at least you reason like one. You comprehend legal complexities. You recommend how to organize the schemes to avoid racketeering prosecutions. You're the peacemaker. When captains are conflicting and the underboss cannot resolve it, they consult you. You're secure. Usually, you don't threaten the leadership position. You're a resource for the leadership. You're the vice president of operations. You're the second in command. The boss is the chief executive. He establishes the direction. You're like the chief operating officer. You implement it. You manage daily operations. All captains answer to you. You gather the master payments from all crews. You resolve disputes too significant for captains, but too minor for the boss. If federal prosecutors build a case, you're typically targeted first. You're the protective barrier keeping the boss from imprisonment. You're also the heir apparent. If the boss perishes or goes to prison, leadership typically transfers to you, but this is common knowledge. That makes you the primary target for every ambitious captain who believes he's more capable. You must be powerful enough to manage the family, but deferential enough not to threaten the boss. Family head, the commission. You've reached the pinnacle. You survived the street violence, the incarcerations, and the betrayals. You're the father figure. You occupy the head position. You're invisible. You never handle firearms. You never touch currency from illegal operations. You have multiple people separating you from the crimes. You quietly instruct your underboss, and 3 days later, a competitor vanishes. You participate in the commission. This is Organized Crime's executive board. You meet with other family bosses and partition the nation. You determine who gets inducted. You determine who dies. You possess absolute authority, but you have no tranquility. Your closest confidant covets your position. The FBI has a dedicated unit focused exclusively on your destruction. There's no stepping down. There's no exit. You remain in power until you die in a medical facility, a correctional institution, or on the sidewalk outside a restaurant. This is the path you selected.